My name is Jacqueline, and today I'm going to be talking about the true crime book, The Third Rainbow Girl by Emma Cosby Ainsberg. This book is about real murders of two women in West Virginia and how this case affected the town for years. Imagine two young women traveling through a small town and then suddenly disappearing. That's basically how the story starts. The case quickly became one of the biggest mysteries in the area, and people were constantly blaming each other and spreading rumors. The main people in this book are Vicki Duran and Nancy Centimero, who are victims, and they were traveling to the Rainbow Gathering when they were murdered. The book also talks a lot about police, investigators, suspects, and the people living in the town. A lot of the townspeople had strong opinions about this case, which made everything more complicated. The author, Emma, is also an important part of the story because she interviews people and explains what she learned while researching this case. The book mostly takes place in West Virginia, small mountain towns. The setting is important because the town feels isolated and everyone knows each other. The murders happened around the Rainbow Gathering in 1980, which was a big hippie event. A lot of people in the town blamed outsiders and judged people based on stereotypes. The setting makes the story feel more creepy and intense because it's so quiet and remote. The structure of the book is different from most books I've read. It's written partly like a documentary and partly like a personal story. The author includes interviews, research, and her own personal thoughts. Sometimes it jumps around from past to present, which can get a little confusing, but it also keeps the story really interesting. It doesn't feel like a normal history book because it focuses a lot on emotion and a personal experience. The ending is a little frustrating but realistic because the case still feels unresolved in some ways. Even though they were suspects and investigators, there were a lot of unanswered questions. And instead of giving people a perfect ending, the author focuses more on how the murders affected the town and the families involved. It makes readers think about whether justice actually happened and if the truth will ever come out. The themes. One major theme in the book is that rumors and stereotypes can seriously affect people's lives. The town judged outsiders really quickly, especially because of the Rainbow Gathering. Another theme is that the tragedies can affect communities for a long time. The book showed how difficult it can be to find truth when people have different opinions and different memories. This book, it honestly felt like watching one of those Netflix true crime documentaries because every person had a different version of the story. I also connected to this book in a modern sense because of social media. Because rumors spread so fast on social media and people judge others before knowing the facts. The book made me realize how much media and public opinion can influence investigators and the way people perceive this case. Academic response. I think this book was more difficult than normal books because there was a lot of detail and interview and people to keep track of. However, the writing style made it interesting because the author used a lot of emotion and description. She also mixed facts with storytelling, which made the book feel more personal instead of just a textbook and informational. The suspense throughout the book kept me interested during the slower parts, and overall I think the author did a really good job at making the real crime story make me feel emotionally involved. I would recommend this book to people who enjoy true crime, mysteries, or documentary. It's probably best for readers who like slower, more thoughtful stories instead of nonstop action. I like that the book focuses on the victims and the community instead of only trying to shock the readers. Even though the story was really sad, it was still really interesting to learn about the case and how it affected so many people. I thought the book was emotional, creepy, thought-provoking, and it definitely made me think differently about true crime stories. Thank you.